Dr. Lisa Kane rubbed her tired eyes as she stared at the computer screen. The numbers still made no sense. For 3 years, her team had been trying to catch dark matter and hold it still. Every time they thought they were close, it slipped away, like smoke. The Titan research station floated in space near Saturn's largest moon. From the outside, it looked like any other science lab. But inside, some of the smartest people on Earth worked on humanity's biggest secret. They were trying to unlock the power of dark matter, the invisible stuff that made up most of the universe. "Lisa, you need to see this," Dr. Ryan Clark called from across the lab. His voice had an edge of excitement that made Lisa's heart race. Ryan had been her partner in this project since the beginning. If he was excited, it meant something big. Lisa walked over to Ryan's workstation. Captain Jake Morris was already there, his military uniform looking out of place among all the science equipment. Jake represented Earth's Space Defense Force on the project. He made sure everything they did could help protect Earth if needed. "What have you got?" Lisa asked. Ryan pointed at his screen. "I've been running tests all night. Look at this wave pattern." Lisa looked at the strange lines dancing across the monitor. They moved up and down in a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "What am I looking at?" "Brainwaves," Ryan said. "Human brain. Waves. But here's the crazy part." He switched to another screen. "This is the dark matter containment field from last night's experiment." Lisa's mouth fell open. The patterns were almost identical. The dark matter was moving in the same rhythm as human thoughts. "That's impossible," she whispered. Jake leaned forward. "What does this mean?" Ryan's hands shook as he typed commands into his computer. "I think dark matter responds to human brain activity. Not just any brain activity, but specific patterns. Watch this." He played a recording from their latest experiment. On one screen, they could see the failed containment, field collapse. On another screen, brainwave readings from the team members showed their frustration and disappointment at the exact moment the field failed. "The dark matter is reading our emotions," Lisa said. "It's like it knows what we're thinking." "But that would mean—" Jake started to speak, then stopped. "It means we've been doing this all wrong," Lisa finished. "We've been trying to force dark matter into containers, but maybe we need to ask it nicely instead." Over the next few hours, Lisa designed a new experiment. Instead of using brute force to contain dark matter, they would use focused meditation and positive thinking. It sounded crazy, but the data didn't lie. Ryan set up the equipment while Jake monitored security systems. They couldn't let anyone know what they were trying. If word got out that humanity was playing with dark matter, other species in the galaxy might not be happy about it. "Ready?" Lisa asked. The team gathered around the containment chamber. Lisa closed her eyes and focused her thoughts. She imagined the dark matter as a friend, not an enemy. She pictured it flowing gently into their trap, willing to be studied and understood. Ryan watched his instruments. Energy levels are rising, the field is stable. Lisa kept her mind calm and welcoming. She felt a strange tingling sensation, as if something was touching her thoughts. The dark matter felt curious, almost playful. "Containment achieved," Jake announced, his voice full of wonder. Lisa opened her eyes. Inside the chamber, a small ball of nothing floated in the center. It wasn't really nothing, though. It was dark matter, held in place by human willpower and friendship instead of force. "We did it," Ryan whispered. But Lisa wasn't celebrating yet. "This is just the beginning. Now we need to see what we can do with it." Over the following weeks, the team learned amazing things. Dark matter could be shaped by human thoughts. It could store massive amounts of energy. Most importantly, it could be used to build things that existed partly in normal space and partly in the dark matter dimension. Jake was the first to understand the military possibilities. If we can build ships that phase between dimensions, they would be invisible to enemy sensors. They could appear anywhere without warning. Lisa felt uncomfortable with the weapon talk, but she knew Jake was right. Other species in the galaxy were much more advanced than humans. Earth needed every advantage it could get. "We need to be careful," she warned. If other races find out what we're doing, they might see it as a threat. Ryan was already designing new experiments. We should test communication with the dark matter, see if we can give it more complex instructions. As the days passed, their breakthrough got bigger. They learned to extract energy from dark matter without destroying it. They built small devices that could disappear and reappear at will. Most importantly, they discovered that the connection between humans and dark matter was unique. Other species couldn't do what humans could do. Lisa began to worry. She knew that alien observers watched Earth from hidden stations in the outer solar system. They had agreed to let humanity develop in peace, but only as long as humans stayed primitive and harmless. What would happen when they discovered that Earth had unlocked the secrets of dark matter? "We need to move fast," she told her team during a late-night meeting. "Build prototypes, run tests, gather data. If the galactic community finds out what we're doing before we're ready to defend ourselves, we could be in serious trouble." Jake nodded grimly. "I've already sent preliminary reports to Admiral Cole. He's mobilizing resources for a classified shipbuilding program." Lisa looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations went about their business, confident that humanity was just another young species that would never amount to much. They had no idea that everything was about to change. The dark matter experiments continued around the clock. With each success, Lisa felt both excitement and fear growing in her heart. They were opening a door that could never be closed again. The question was whether humanity would be ready for what lay on the other side. Ambassador Helen Wade stood in the massive chamber of the Galactic Council building. The walls stretched up so high she could barely see the ceiling. Around her, beings from 12 different worlds sat in floating chairs that glowed with soft light. Some looked almost human, while others were so strange she had to force herself not to stare. This was the first time Earth had been invited to a formal council meeting. Helen felt the weight of representing all humanity on her shoulders. She wore her best diplomatic uniform, but next to the alien delegates in their shimmering robes and biosuits, she felt very small. At the center of the chamber sat Supreme Chancellor Vex Thaler of the Vorthon Empire. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and eyes that seemed to glow red in the dim light. When he spoke, his voice echoed through the chamber like thunder. "Human delegate," he began. "We have called you here to discuss a serious matter. Your species has been conducting dangerous experiments." Helen kept her face calm, but her heart was racing. She had been briefed about the dark matter research, though she didn't know all the details. "I'm not sure what experiments you're referring to, Chancellor." A new voice spoke from Helen's left. It belonged to Scientist Prime Keth Nara of the Nexari Collective. Her blue skin sparkled with tiny lights that flashed when she talked. "Don't play innocent with us. Our sensors have detected massive energy signatures from your solar system. You're manipulating dark matter." The chamber filled with angry whispers and clicking sounds from the various alien delegates. Helen realized that the council was more afraid than angry. Their fear made them dangerous. "Earth's scientific research is conducted within our own territory," Helen said carefully. "We haven't violated any agreements." Chancellor Vex Thaler slammed his fist on his floating podium. "You violate the fundamental laws of cosmic safety. Dark matter manipulation is forbidden for good reason. Your reckless experiments could tear holes in space itself." An ancient voice spoke from the highest platform. It came from Elder Shalkorn of the Zelkan hegemony, a being so old that parts of his body had turned to living crystal. "Young species always think they know better than their elders. We have seen what happens when dark matter is misused. Entire star systems have been destroyed." Helen felt sweat running down her back, but she stood straight. "If dark matter is so dangerous, why haven't you shared this knowledge with us? Earth has been asking for advanced scientific information for decades." "Because you weren't ready," snapped Trademaster Vlox from the Commercial Federation. His tentacles waved angrily as he spoke. "Your species still fights wars over resources and territory. You think we would trust you with universe-ending weapons?" The chamber erupted in agreement. Dozens of different languages mixed together in a chorus of anger and fear. Helen waited for the noise to die down before speaking again. "What exactly are you demanding?" Chancellor Vex Thalar's red eyes fixed on her. Complete cessation of all dark matter research. Immediate destruction of any equipment or materials related to these experiments. Full disclosure of everything you have learned. And permanent monitoring stations in your solar system to ensure compliance. Helen felt her stomach drop. The demands were essentially asking Earth to surrender its scientific independence and accept permanent alien occupation. I don't have the authority to agree to those terms. Then get someone who does, the Chancellor said coldly. You have 7 standard days to comply, or Earth will be completely cut off from galactic civilization. No trade, no communication, no travel beyond your solar system. You will be quarantined until you see reason. Helen knew this was more than just isolation. A quarantine meant Earth would be treated as a threat. If humanity tried to leave the solar system, they would be met with alien warships. And if we refuse the quarantine? She asked. The chamber fell silent. Chancellor Vexthaler stood up slowly. Then the Council will take whatever steps are necessary to protect galactic security. It was a threat of war, barely disguised in diplomatic language. Helen felt anger rising in her chest, but she kept her voice level. I request permission to demonstrate Earth's defensive capabilities before any final decisions are made. Several delegates laughed. The sound was not pleasant coming from alien throats. Trademaster Vlox's tentacles wiggled in what Helen assumed was amusement. Your primitive spacecraft against our battle fleets? We've studied your technology, human. Your most advanced ships are barely capable of interplanetary travel. Nevertheless, I formally request a demonstration, Helen repeated. Chancellor Vexthaler waved his hand dismissively. If it will help you understand your situation, very well. But this changes nothing. You have 7 days. As the council session ended, Helen walked through the corridors of the alien station toward her shuttle. Her mind was racing. The aliens clearly thought they were dealing with helpless primitives, but Helen had been briefed about Admiral Cole's secret projects. She knew Earth had capabilities the council couldn't imagine. She reached her quarters and activated the secure communication system. The encryption was based on quantum entanglement, impossible for alien technology to break. Within seconds, she was connected to Earth's command center. This is Wade, she said. The council has delivered an ultimatum. They know about the dark matter research. Admiral Ben Cole's voice came through the speaker. What are their demands? Helen repeated everything the council had said. When she finished, there was a long silence. Admiral, are you there? I'm here, Cole said grimly. Helen, I need you to buy us some time. Can you stall the council for another few days? Maybe. They've agreed to let me demonstrate our defensive capabilities, but Ben, they're not taking us seriously at all. They think we're helpless. She could hear the smile in Admiral Cole's voice. Let them keep thinking that. In 3 days, Helen, you're going to show them something that will change their minds forever. After ending the call, Helen sat alone in her quarters. Through the window, she could see alien ships moving through space like schools of fish. They were so confident, so sure of their superiority. She wondered what their faces would look like when they learned the truth about humanity's new abilities. The next few days would determine whether Earth joined the galactic community as an equal, or whether humanity would have to fight for its right to exist among the stars. Helen hoped Admiral Cole's confidence was justified, because there would be no second chances. Outside her window, the alien ships continued their patrols, unaware that everything they knew about humans was about to change. Admiral Ben Cole sat in the command chair of the UES Nightfall, humanity's first dark matter warship. The bridge looked nothing like the spacecraft the aliens had studied. Instead of metal walls and blinking lights, everything seemed to shimmer and fade at the edges. The ship existed in 2 places at once, both in normal space and in the dark matter dimension. Status report, Cole said quietly. Captain Amy Ross's voice came through the communication system from her ship, the UES Shadow Strike. All dark fleet. Vessels are in position, Admiral. We're invisible to their sensors. Cole nodded. Around Earth's solar system, 5 experimental ships waited in the darkness between dimensions. Each crew had volunteered for this mission, knowing they were flying untested technology that could kill them if something went wrong. Commander Pete Walker reported from the UES Phantom Wing. Enemy fleet is approaching Mars orbit. 27, fourth-hand warships, 3 Nexari science vessels, and what looks like a Zelkan command ship. Through the view screen, Cole could see the alien fleet approaching. The ships were beautiful in their own way, sleek and powerful, with energy shields that glowed like soap bubbles around their hulls. For 300 years, these vessels had been the terror of lesser species across the galaxy. Today, that would change. "Remember," Cole said to his fleet, "we're not trying to destroy them all. We want to send a message. Disable their weapons and engines, but leave them alive to tell their story." Cole's helmsman, Lieutenant Dan Price, looked nervous. "Admiral, are you sure this will work? We've only tested the phase shifting in simulations." "The simulations were perfect," Cole replied. "Dr. Kane's team knows what they're doing. Trust the science." On the main screen, Cole watched the Vorthan fleet leader, a massive battleship called the Star Crusher, begin broadcasting on all frequencies. "Attention, primitive humans," came the arrogant voice of Fleet Commander Kex Vorth. "By order of the Galactic Council, you will cease all dark matter experiments immediately. Surrender your research data and submit to inspection or face the consequences." Cole smiled grimly. "Open a channel." "Channel open, sir. This is Admiral Cole of the Earth Defense Force. Your fleet is trespassing in human territory. Turn around and leave, or we will remove you." Laughter echoed across the communication channel. "Admiral Cole, our sensors show no human ships in this area. Are you going to fight us with asteroids?" "You'll see," Cole said, then closed the channel. He turned to his crew. "All ships, begin phase transition. Let's show them what ghosts can do." The bridge of the Nightfall began to shimmer. Cole felt a strange tingling sensation as his body shifted partially into the dark matter dimension. It was like being in 2 places at once, existing both in the real world and in the shadow realm that lay beneath it. "Phase transition complete," reported his science officer, Dr. Tony Wells. "We are now invisible to conventional sensors and weapons. All ships attack formation," Cole ordered. The 5 human ships moved through space like hunting wolves. The aliens couldn't see them coming because their sensors were designed to detect normal matter and energy. The dark matter ships were like ghosts, present but invisible. Captain Amy Ross's voice crackled over the radio. "Beginning attack run on the Star Crusher." Cole watched on his screen as the shadow strike appeared out of nowhere, right next to the massive Vorthan battleship. The alien crew must have been terrified to see a ship materialize from empty space. The Star Crusher immediately opened fire with everything it had. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and quantum torpedoes all struck the shadow strike directly. But the weapons passed through the human ship like it wasn't there. "What sorcery is this?" Commander Kex Vorth's voice screamed over the radio. Amy Ross answered by firing her dark matter torpedoes. The weapons phased into normal space just before impact, tearing through the Star Crusher's shields like they didn't exist. The alien ship's weapon systems exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Across the battlefield, the other human ships were doing the same thing. Commander Pete Walker's Phantom Wing appeared above a group of Vorthan destroyers, his weapons cutting through their hulls like a knife through paper. The aliens fired desperately at targets they could barely see, their shots missing or passing harmlessly through the ghostly human vessels. "This is impossible," came another alien voice. "Our shields are useless. Our weapons can't hit them." Cole felt no joy in the slaughter, only grim satisfaction. The aliens had come here expecting to fight primitive humans with chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. Instead, they faced an enemy that could exist partially outside reality itself. Within 30 minutes, the entire alien fleet was crippled. Their weapons were destroyed, their engines were offline, and their shields were down. Not a single alien had been killed, but their mighty warships were now helpless hulks drifting in space. Cole opened a general communication channel. "Attention, alien fleet. This is Admiral Cole. Your ships are disabled, but your crews are alive. You will return to the Galactic Council and deliver this message. Earth is not defenseless, we are not primitive, and we will not be bullied." Commander Kex Vorth's voice came back, filled with fear and confusion. "What are you? How did you do this? We are human, Cole said simply, and we've learned to make friends with the darkness. The human ships began to fade from view again, returning to their ghostly state between dimensions. To the aliens, it must have looked like they were being erased from existence. Tell your council, Cole continued, that humanity is ready to join galactic civilization as equals, but if they choose to treat us as enemies, they will discover that we can be their worst nightmare. As the alien survivors activated their emergency beacons and called for rescue, Cole's fleet disappeared back into the dark matter dimension. They had sent their message loud and clear. The age of human weakness was over. Mission accomplished, Captain Amy Ross reported. All ships returning to base. Cole leaned back in his command chair and looked out at the stars. Soon, news of this battle would spread across the galaxy. Every alien civilization would learn that Earth was no longer the helpless world they thought they knew. The real test would come next, when the Galactic Council decided how to respond to this demonstration of human power. Cole hoped they would choose wisdom over pride, but he was prepared for either outcome. In the distance, the crippled alien ships drifted in space, their crew still trying to understand what had happened to them. They had come as conquerors and left as messengers, carrying word of humanity's strength to every corner of the galaxy. Supreme Chancellor Vexthalar stared at the emergency reports flooding his desk. His red eyes glowed brighter with each message he read. The impossible had happened. An entire Vorthan battle fleet, the pride of his empire, had been defeated by primitive humans without landing a single hit in return. This must be some kind of mistake, he muttered, reading the same report for the third time. His aide, Sub-Commander Nex Kalar, stood nervously nearby. Sir, we have visual recordings from the battle. The human ships appeared and disappeared at will. Our weapons passed right through them. Show me, Vexthalar demanded. The holographic display activated, showing the battle from the perspective of the Star Crusher. Vexthalar watched in growing horror as ghostly human ships materialized from nothing, shrugged off the most powerful weapons in his fleet, and then tore through Vorthan shields like they were made of paper. How is this possible? He whispered. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out in government buildings and military headquarters. The news of humanity's victory spread faster than light through quantum communication networks. Panic followed. Close behind. On the Nexari homeworld, Dr. Kira Voss worked frantically in her laboratory. As the galaxy's leading expert on dark matter physics, she had been called in to analyze the battle data. What she found made her skin crawl with fear. They're not just using dark matter as a weapon, she explained to the emergency council of Nexari leaders. They've learned to exist partially within the dark matter dimension itself. Their ships can phase between normal space and the shadow realm at will. Prime Scientist Leth Kara leaned forward in his floating chair. Is such a thing even theoretically possible? Dr. Voss's normally blue skin had turned pale gray with worry. According to our physics, no. But the humans have done it anyway. They've broken the fundamental laws that govern our understanding of reality. On Zelkin Prime, Elder Shalkorn sat in the ancient archives, his crystalline fingers tracing through records that were millions of years old. His assistants brought him scroll after scroll of prophecies and warnings from the dawn of galactic civilization. Here, he said, his voice creaking with age, the prophecy of the Shadow Walkers, written by the first ones before they disappeared into the void. His youngest assistant, a mere 1,000 years old, read the ancient text aloud. From the edge of the spiral shall come the children of darkness. They who walk between worlds shall humble the mighty and make the proud tremble. Beware the species that befriends the void, for they shall inherit the stars. Elder Shalkorn's crystal eyes flickered with ancient fear. The first ones vanished pursuing dark matter research. We thought it was a warning about the dangers of such experiments. But what if it was a prophecy about who would master those dangers? In the commercial districts of a dozen worlds, the stock markets crashed. Military contractors watched their values plummet as investors realized that conventional weapons were useless against the new human technology. Trade routes that had operated safely for centuries suddenly seemed vulnerable to attack by invisible ships. Trademaster Vlox paced frantically in his office on the Commercial Federation's capital station. His tentacles writhed with anxiety as he read report after report of economic chaos. "Sir," his assistant squeaked, "the shipping guilds are demanding protection for their vessels. They're afraid human pirates could appear anywhere without warning." "Pirates?" Vlox's tentacles slapped against his desk. "These humans could destroy our entire civilization if they wanted to. They don't need to steal from us. They could simply take whatever they desire." The fear was spreading beyond military and government. Circles. On worlds throughout the galaxy, ordinary citizens watched the news broadcasts with growing terror. The humans, who everyone had dismissed as harmless primitives, had revealed themselves to be something far more dangerous. Meanwhile, Captain Amy Ross piloted the Shadow Strike through the heart of Council space, completely undetected by their most advanced sensors. Her mission was simple but terrifying to anyone who understood its implications. She was proving that nowhere in the galaxy was safe from human reach. "Passing the Nixari homeworld now," she reported back to Admiral Cole. "Their orbital defense platforms can't even tell I'm here." Amy's ship drifted silently past massive space stations and military installations. She could destroy any of them with a single torpedo, but her orders were clear. This was a reconnaissance mission, not an attack. The goal was to gather intelligence and demonstrate humanity's reach. "Moving on to the Vorthon capital system," she continued. "Their entire home fleet is positioned around their main world. Thousands of ships, all useless against us." Back on Earth, Admiral Cole monitored Amy's progress from his command center. Dr. Lisa Kane sat beside him, watching the data stream from the Shadow Strike's sensors. "They're completely helpless," Lisa said quietly. "We could strike at the heart of any civilization in the galaxy." Cole nodded grimly. "The question is whether they'll realize cooperation is their only option, or if their pride will make them try something desperate." His answer came 3 hours later. Emergency broadcasts from the Galactic Council began transmitting on all frequencies. "Attention, all member worlds," came the voice of Supreme Chancellor Vexthaler. "The Galactic Council is implementing emergency security measures. All military forces are to report to designated rally points. We are calling up the reserve fleets from every member world." Cole and Lisa exchanged worried glances. "They're mobilizing everything they have," Cole said. "Sir," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a priority message from Ambassador Wade." Helen Wade's face appeared on the main screen. She looked tired and stressed. "Ben, the Council is panicking. They're talking about launching a massive assault on Earth with every ship they can gather. Thousands of vessels from dozens of worlds." Cole felt his stomach tighten. "How long do we have?" "Maybe a week. They're calling it the Great Crusade. Every council member is contributing ships and troops. They're so afraid of us that they're willing to unite their entire military just to try to destroy Earth." After ending the call, Cole sat back in his chair. The demonstration had worked too well. Instead of convincing the aliens to negotiate, it had terrified them into desperation. "What do we do now?" Lisa asked. Cole looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the largest fleet in galactic history was gathering to attack humanity. "We prepare for the fight of our lives, and we hope our technology is as good as we think it is." Dambadie. Galaxy had seen humanity's power, and their response was fear, panic, and the mobilization of every warship they could find. The real test of human strength was yet to come. Admiral Ben Cole stood on the bridge of the Nightfall as his dark matter fleet moved silently through space toward the Council's capital world. Around him, the largest armada in galactic history waited in orbit, thousands of ships from dozens of different worlds, all united by their fear of humanity. "They can't see us coming," reported Captain Amy Ross from the Shadow Strike. "Their sensors are blind to our approach." Cole nodded. The alien fleet was impressive, stretching across space like a metal cloud. Vorthon battleships, Nixari science, vessels, Zelkan dreadnoughts, and ships from races he didn't even recognize. It was everything the galaxy could throw at Earth, and it meant nothing against technology that could exist between dimensions. "All ships take positions around the capital," Cole ordered. "But don't fire unless fired upon. We're here to negotiate, not to destroy." Commander Pete Walker's voice came from the Phantom Wing. Sir, what if they don't want to negotiate? Then, we'll have to convince them, Cole replied grimly. On the Council Capital world below, Supreme Chancellor Vex Thalar paced frantically in the emergency command center. His red eyes blazed with desperation as he watched his sensors show empty space, where intelligence reports claimed human ships were gathering. Where are they? He demanded. Our scouts reported 5 human vessels approaching this system. Dr. Kira Voss stood at her science station, her blue skin flickering with nervous energy. Sir, if they're using the same technology as before, they could be anywhere. They could be right next to us and we'd never know. This is madness, muttered Elder Shalcorn from his floating chair. We're preparing to fight enemies we cannot see. Suddenly, every screen in the command center activated. Admiral Cole's face appeared, calm and confident. Behind him, the bridge of the Nightfall seemed to shimmer and fade at the edges, a reminder of the impossible technology humans had mastered. Greetings, Galactic Council, Cole said. I am Admiral Cole of the Earth Defense Force. My fleet is currently positioned around your capital world. Panic erupted in the command center. Aliens shouted and clicked and chirped in a dozen languages. Vex Thalar slammed his fist on the communication console. Impossible. Our sensors show no ships in this system except our own fleet. Cole smiled slightly. Your sensors are designed to detect normal matter and energy. We exist partially outside your reality. Would you like a demonstration? Before anyone could answer, the human ships began to phase into visible space. One by one, they appeared around the capital world like ghosts becoming solid. The Nightfall materialized directly above the planet's largest city, its dark hull blocking out the sun for millions of terrified aliens below. By the first ones, whispered Elder Shalcorn. The prophecy was true. Cole's expression became serious. I've come to offer terms for peace. But first let me be clear about your situation. My 5 ships could destroy your entire fleet in minutes. Your weapons cannot touch us, your shields are useless. Your numerical advantage means nothing. What do you want? Vex Thalar asked, his voice shaking with rage and fear. Respect, Cole said simply. Full membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights equal to our military capabilities, and end to the condescending treatment of humanity as a primitive species. Recognition of Earth's sovereignty over our own territory and research. Trademaster Vlox's tentacles writhed angrily. You're demanding to be treated as equals when you've just threatened our capital world. I'm not threatening anyone, Cole replied. I'm demonstrating reality. Humanity has evolved beyond the limitations that constrain your civilizations. You can accept this fact and work with us, or you can continue to oppose us and face the consequences. Dr. Kira Voss stepped forward. Admiral Cole, our records show that dark matter manipulation destroyed entire star systems in the past. How do we know you won't lose control of these forces? Cole's expression softened slightly. Doctor, would you like to speak with the scientist? Who made our breakthrough possible? The screen split and Dr. Lisa Kane appeared next to Cole. Her face was tired but determined. Dr. Voss, I understand your concerns, but our relationship with dark matter is different from anything your ancestors attempted. We don't control it through force. We cooperate with it. Cooperate? Dr. Voss looked confused. Dark matter is not alive, isn't it? Lisa asked. We've discovered that dark matter responds to consciousness, to intention, to what you might call friendship. Your species tried to dominate it. We learned to work with it. Elder Shalcorn's ancient voice filled the chamber. The prophecy of the Shadow Walkers speaks of those who befriend the void. Perhaps this is what the first ones discovered before they vanished. Cole took control of the conversation again. The choice is yours, Council. Accept humanity as equals and benefit from peaceful cooperation, or continue to treat us as enemies and discover just how outmatched you really are. And if we refuse? Vex Thalar asked. Then Earth will withdraw from galactic civilization entirely, Cole said. We'll establish our own territories, our own trade networks, our own rules. Species that want to work with us will be welcome. Those that don't will find their ships turned away at our borders. The implication was clear. With their invisible ships and reality-bending technology, humans could go anywhere and do anything. They could blockade trade routes, establish bases on any world, and enforce their will across the galaxy. The old power structure was already dead. The only question was whether the transition would be peaceful or violent. After hours of debate, the Council reached their decision. Vexthalar's voice was bitter as he announced it. The Galactic Council recognizes Earth as a full member with voting rights proportional to demonstrated capabilities. Cole nodded. A wise choice. Captain Walker will establish a research station in neutral space where selected Council scientists can study our technology under supervision. The knowledge sharing will be gradual and controlled, but it will happen. Ambassador Helen Wade appeared on screen from her shuttle, which was approaching the capital. I'll be taking my permanent position as Earth's Council representative. I look forward to working with all of you as equals. As the communication ended, Cole looked out at the massive alien fleet surrounding his tiny force. They still outnumbered his ships thousands to one, but numbers no longer mattered. Humanity had transcended the physical limitations that governed galactic civilization, and everyone knew it. Mission accomplished, Captain Amy Ross reported, all ships preparing to return to patrol duties. Cole smiled as his fleet began to fade back into the dark matter dimension. They would continue to patrol the galaxy's major shipping lanes and strategic points, invisible guardians ensuring that the new balance of power remained stable. Dr. Lisa. Kane joined Cole on the bridge as Earth's newest chapter began. Do you think they'll keep the peace? Cole looked out at the stars, where human ships now moved unseen through the darkness between worlds. They don't have a choice. We've shown them that the age of alien dominance is over. From now on, humanity sets the rules. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity's place within it. The species that had once been dismissed as primitive now held the future of galactic civilization in their hands.